Hey everyone, it's Sarah from Sessaries, and today I am talking about the last 3 books that I read in 2017. First up, we have Harry Potter and Philosophy If Aristotle Ran Hogwarts, edited by David Baggett and Sean E. Klein. I had to purchase this for my Harry Potter and Philosophy class. I know, what a fun class. And we read a couple of these, so I took it upon myself to read the rest of the essays, and I gave the whole entire collection 2 stars. I have a review on Goodreads about which essays I suggest reading or skipping, so if you own this collection, that may be an advising thing. They're not horrible essays, but the majority of them were pointless, and they can obviously be argued because, hello, this only goes up to Order of the Phoenix. There's 2 more books, and those books are so essential to the whole entire arc of the series that I feel like they kind of pushed the gun in publishing this, and they should have waited. Obviously, I mean. And then there were just some really bad essays in here. Like, we read one essay for class. Lord have mercy, that was one of the worst essays I have ever read in my life. I was like, who let this be published? Let's see if I can find it. Probably can't find it. Well, I don't need to talk crap on it anyway. But yeah, there's just some stuff in here that is definitely not very good. Do I think that it's really important to the Harry Potter universe? No, but it's fun if you like philosophy. And it's just interesting essays on Harry Potter. Some of them are good and some of them not so good. The majority of them are not so good. Obviously 2 stars. Okay, enough of that one. Next up, we have one of my... This one made it to my top 10 favorites of 2017, so obviously it's a good one. It's Uprooted by Naomi Novik. Uprooted follows the story of Agnieszka, a young girl who lives in the village of Vernick, and she lives not close to, but pretty darn close to the Wood. And the Wood is this ominous entity that can corrupt people. And for example, if it's a really windy day and the breeze is strong, the wind from the Wood can spread corruption and people can turn into homicidal maniacs and kill their family. It gets dark. Well, of course it gets dark. And so the Wood is controlled, and not controlled, but it's maintained by the dragon. Not a real dragon, but he's called a dragon. He's a sorcerer who lives in a tower, and every 10 years he requires a girl from Agnieszka's village to come and live with him in his tower, and after 10 years she is released, and usually she doesn't come back, and she has kind of moved on. Like, she has no connections to the town, and she couldn't care less, and so she travels far and wide and goes on to new things. And Agnieszka knows that her best friend Cassia is going to be the girl chosen by the dragon. She can see it because Cassia is wonderful. She is perfect. She's well-spoken. She has been basically brought up to be taken by the dragon. And on this night when the ceremony is occurring, Agnieszka is the one chosen. And as Agnieszka struggles with being chosen and Cassia struggles with having to live life in a different path from the one that everyone thought, it leaves a different type of relationship that they have to face when they come together again. And Agnieszka finds out, and this isn't a spoiler, people, because it's very on in the book, and it's also very obvious. I mean, look at this cover. Agnieszka finds out that she is a sorceress who has wood powers, and she can do magic, and she can control elements of the earth, and it is, yes. And yeah, there's like all kind of plots in here. I'm not gonna spoil it because I think it's just fun if you kind of go in not knowing where the story will take you, because like that's the first plot, but there's like all kind of subplots and interweaving plots, and it's wonderful. It's like 5 books in a series and 1 book. And I love that. It just made it so much fun because I didn't have to read like a whole series to get this. I got it all in 1 book. and I loved it. I gave it 5 stars. I have a full-length review. I know, I wrote a review after I read it, like within a week. Who is she? Not me. Yeah, so that is a very rare thing because I'm lazy. And I definitely enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. I know it's not going to be for everyone. That's the thing about these kind of fantasy stories. You may love it, you may hate it, or you may just be indifferent to it. I loved it. And also, can we take a moment? Not only is this cover gorgeous, but can we take a moment to look at this beautiful spine? My book is gorgeous. Like, I love it so much. And I used to just like, I don't read with my dust jacket on, so I'd like pop it open and I'd be like, boom, look at that. Look at that. Ooh, beautiful. Wonderful book. Wonderful. I really enjoyed it. I highly recommend it. I think a lot of people will like it. I know a lot of people do like it, but if you haven't read it, I recommend it. And then the last book that I read in 2017, of course, it didn't compare to Uprooted. It's hard to compare to Uprooted. That book was really good. I didn't read. I finished The Girl with All the Gifts by M.R. Carey. I gave it 3.25 stars. I actually have it still on my Kindle app. I haven't written my review yet, so I have the cover for it. I will show you what the cover looks like if my Kindle would load. So The Girl with All the Gifts follows a little girl in a compound who is obsessed with her teacher, Miss Justineau. And this little girl is a huge fan of Miss Justineau. And I mean a huge fan of her. But we know that this little girl is different. This is the cover. So there's something different about this little girl. And as we read, we find out the Hungries have taken over. And the Hungries are zombies, and yeah, I don't want to spoil it. It's a fun book. It's not amazing by any means, but it's a fun zombie story, and I think a lot of people love The Girl with All the Gifts. I thought I was gonna love it, but I just liked it. I thought it was pretty good. It wasn't fantastic. It kind of got a little boring because I felt like it was really long, and so I think that's why I didn't give it a higher rating than 3.25 stars. But I do recommend The Girl with All the Gifts, and I think there's a lot to be desired. I also know that it's a movie, and I'm interested in checking it out. I don't know how well it'll be adapted, though, because a lot of it seems hard to adapt, but we'll see. Out of these 3 books, I recommend Uprooted the most. I think you should all go read it if you're a fan of fantasy and retellings and just beautiful stories with creepy things. Also, this is kind of like horrifying. There's praying mantises that eat people. That's scary. So yeah, let me know down below in the comments if you've read any of these books, and I hope to see you down below. Don't forget to subscribe, and bye. Happy reading!